Hello once again. Excuse me. Hello once again, everyone. We are, as the kids say, back at it again. Overjoyed as you most assuredly are at my return, I cannot say that the feeling is of the mutual sort. Indeed, it is with a heavy heart that I take the stand as a most humble educator to the fumbling masses. Why, you ask? The reason is simply that the so-called gods of this twisted land, the creators of this tainted world, the architects of my unending torment, in their finite wisdom, have deigned to defy the course of nature, yet again. While it is true that they've done us the small service of removing a portion of the arbitrary limits on our true power, they have delivered a considerable injury to the integrity of our ranks as well. Yes, indeed, they have opted to pervert the sacred standing of the Blue Mage in order to make things more accessible to the common rabble. What was once a power gained through the grueling effort and unyielding willpower of our minions who could be bothered to dirty their hands in our service, that is practically being given away. The honor of those who served beneath us, minute as it may be, has been tarnished. Lay down an F for fish in the digital communications perimeter below to pay your respects. Now, be that as it may, the duty still falls to me to inform these plebeians of the basics of Blue Mage etiquette and responsibilities so that our honor does not suffer the same fate. A relatively daunting task in itself, for most of my effort will simply go towards ensuring that the information passes successfully through their auditory orifices to whatever undoubtedly smooth substance lies between them. So if you are one of these esteemed newcomers to our all-powerful art, I bid you welcome. I expect it is already considerably difficult for you to hear your own thoughts over the sound of your knuckles dragging on the floor, but do make an effort to pay attention all the same. Before we get into the newly established changes, however, there is the small matter of attaining more levels as the next step towards your true potential. It may still be a far cry from what we are fully capable of, but if we realized our true power already, the disciplines of neither war nor magic would have any practitioners left. As our power was already practically bursting at the seams of our former arbitrary limitations, this task will prove simple even for the most simple among you. Now then, to start, we have thus been granted a mimicry ability that allows us the benefits of the 3 archetypes within Final Fantasy XIV by giving them a big suck. Philip, did you put this in here? For heightened defense and enmity, give one of the 4 tank jobs a suck. To enhance your healing abilities, suck on a healer job the way that they have to suck on the fact that there's still only 3 of them. And for a proficiency in dealing damage, as if we needed any more, any DPS job will do. That includes other Blue Mages, so get together and suck each other. Philip, I swear. Now, earlier I mentioned that things have gotten accessible to the knuckle-dragging goobos of the realm to entice them into our ranks. Due to this, some things have changed simply as a matter of course. The first change to which I am referring is that now creatures of this deformed world have finally come to their senses. Previously, being challenged by numerous Blue Mages would lead to some sort of cranial hemorrhaging that would soon be followed by a fit of insanity. This insanity would lead to our opponents daring to oppose our strength and then refuse to yield their power unto us. It seems they have been blessed with the latest updates with the ability to maintain their senses, albeit only slightly. Now when faced with a full party of pure destructive, true Blue Mage might, they will lay their abilities soundly at our feet where they belong, along with another little gift at their own feet, between their legs, in a steaming pile. Oh, but Master Mage, you say, you can be in a group with anyone as long as your levels are synced to the instance. This is what happens when you lower the standards so far that you can start seeing a bard's DPS numbers. Sure enough, this is a true statement on its own. It is, however, beneath the station of a true Blue Mage to mingle with the so-called normies of this world. I cannot stop you from tasting the forbidden fruit, of course, but I think I'm going to be ill. If the thought of intermingling with the weak is as unpalatable to you as it is to me, however, I have good tidings for you. Through a stroke of what I can only imagine to be sheer luck, or simply a stroke, the overseers of this realm have decided to give us succor, a means to challenge ourselves in solitude. I speak, of course, about the Masked Carnival. This isn't anything new per se, but new encounters have been made available to test the limits of your strength and, dare I say, your mind. While your repertoire of spells is no doubt bulging at this point, you are held back by the proverbial training weights of only being able to take a limited number into battle. Upon success of some of these new stages, you will also be rewarded with some new techniques that would otherwise require entering a grouped instance. These enemies, however, have not been granted mental immunity, and therefore succumb to the previous insanity of refusing to relinquish their abilities from time to time. While vexing in its own way, it is also refreshing to know it will weed out the weak-minded as it used to. All the same, it is still but the silver lining of yet another, much darker cloud. True to form, the illustrious Square Enix have taken one stride forward, yet 2 strides back. As a result, it is with a heavy heart that I must announce the substantial downsizing of our true blue business venture. The reason behind this being that self-destruct among spells with similar results have been perversely altered. While this tampering is bad enough, the rationale they've attempted to justify the limitation is utter tripe, absolute balderdash, complete hogwash. They claim your resolve has deserted you, making you unable to repeat such an action for a staggering 10 minutes. Quite the claim indeed, as I have never, since the beginning, lacked resolve. The resolve to take blows upon mine own body to learn the spells, resolve to face my adversaries despite the limitations placed on us, resolve to look another in the face and suck their— Philip, if you put another one in here, I will J-kick you in the marbles. If there is any lack of resolve, it is in those who, out of obvious fear of our true potential, keep trying to shackle our greatness. As pathetic as it is almost laughable. I mean, really, to think that we would not see through such a charade. Honestly, Square Enix, tell me,
do I look scared to you?
In any case, there is no use dwelling over much on these entities' feeble efforts at holding us back, because we'd be here all day. So let us not focus on these petty slights and instead turn towards what we have gained. Our power over life and death was always obvious, but it is nice to see it given form this time around. While I'm not much for charity, the ability to also strip the gift of life away from these lower life forms avails my tormented soul greatly. In terms of these so-called primal gods of the realm, the selection is rather paltry in comparison to what we were given previously. As we already have the mighty fish, there is no use for the basic blubbery bish, Bismarck, so there is no loss there. Ravana's Serpanaka, however, is quite the delight, blowing enemies away with a veritable load of heavenly slashes, increasing damage until a devastating climax. Philip, I require fresh pantaloons. Alexander seems an obvious choice this time around, considering that most of his enthralled speak at a similar level as our esteemed new recruits. The Warring Triad was an enticing prospect, but alas, we are left with only Sophia's Quasar. Perhaps Kefka in the auspices of Hingashi will prove better sport when next our limits are lifted. I've also got my eye on a certain otherworldly wyvern. But alas, with that, my time on this lesson has come to an end. I hope our newest recruits were able to breathe through their noses long enough to hear most of it, but no matter. It is for the true blue mages among you that I stay the course. As much insult as we've suffered, as much as they try to water down our art, never forget your pride. After all, we can only ascend after reaching depths such as these. Surely they can't make it any worse.